Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Dream Then Do podcast. Now, today's episode will be a little bit different because I've been thinking to myself, should I record this or should I go with the normal flow of topics I've already planned for this podcast? And I remembered something Emeka asked the last time he came. He was like, what is Dream Then Do and why did you start Dream Then Do? So I decided I was just going to shoot this podcast and be vulnerable. Now, have you been or have you encountered those times where you've been doing things that you would normally do and have been yielding results? You didn't necessarily change any pattern. And then you've been doing these things, you're still doing them, but it just feels all of a sudden that it's slow. Everything just stops moving, everything just stops working, and you're wondering, where did I go wrong? You try to think about it, and then you realize you didn't necessarily do anything different. You've been doing the same things you've been doing, but things don't just seem to be going as it should. And then you get to lose interest in everything. That's where I have been. So, we spoke about motivation versus consistency, and we spoke about when motivation fails. Well, I am a living testimony that motivation has failed. I believe that there are some of us that may be in the same space I've been in the past few weeks. You go out, you smile, you talk to everyone, you look happy, you look good. But when you get back to your rooms, you get back to your homes, you get back to your houses, you just get back to that circle where you can't wait to just shut the world out and just, you're not interested in the world. You're not interested in whatever is going on. So this is for you, and I'm here to tell you three things. The first is that sometimes we have this myth that success is constant. So we often feel that progress is constant. So you feel things should keep on moving smoothly as long as you achieved this goal using this particular method and you're still on it, you didn't necessarily deviate from that method. So things should keep moving according to plans. But I have come to realize in my musings that success is just like a heartbeat. It pumps, it goes up, down, it rises and it falls, it dips, rises, it goes high and then it goes low. And this doesn't necessarily have to be that you're doing anything wrong. So sometimes it is God's way of building patience in you, is God's way of building endurance in you. And while things may seem that they are not going right or they are not going the way you may expect it to, you are having roots and then your roots are deepening. So take for example a seed. You plant a seed today deep in the ground and then you don't see what goes on with that seed under the ground. You don't know the struggles it has to go through because it has to create roots downward and then before it begins to shine and grow up. Before you actually see that, oh, this seed you have planted is actually growing. Someone said once, every seed you plant must first of all die before it produces. So that may be the season where you're in, and this is just to tell you that you should hold on. So the growth may not be seen by everyone around you, but then there's one important thing you should know is you are deepening your roots. So you're building stamina. We've always said the silent years are years where you build stamina, where you build strength for the great years ahead. So that may be what is just going on. You may not feel it. You may not seem like you're growing. You may just feel like you stagnated. You sit back, you try to think of things you may have done wrong or steps you may have taken and still can't really see anything. Just in that moment, know that God is working something great and marvelous in you. And to be honest, like I said, this is me being very vulnerable, yeah? I may not necessarily see what He is doing, but that's where faith comes in. So instead of just sulking and then staying sad or trying to think of things that you shouldn't, I think one thing that should help at this moment is to build a closer relationship with Him and then engage so much in thanksgiving. And yes, if you do speak in tongues, it's necessary. You should actually pray. It's one time where You need to build fellowship with God. I feel that's the only thing at this point that would make sense and make you feel everything would actually work out. So if you're in that phase, the first thing you should know is that there's a myth where we say progress is always constant. That's very wrong. Progress is not constant. Sometimes progress goes up and it goes down, up, down. But that doesn't stop it from being progress. It's still progress. It's just building something different in you, something you did not necessarily think you need, but you would end up seeing later on. So trust the process and hold on. And then the second thing I would like to talk about today is actually rest. So while growing up, there was this sermon my general overseer preached on, and it was all around rest. He used Jesus as an example, and when Jesus had finished healing and feeding, I think, the multitude, then he sent his disciples to different parts of the country and he went there with them. The whole aim, the sole aim for that was for him to actually go and rest. And that message, it's been years, but that message has always stuck with me because it's very okay, guys, for you at certain points to actually take a pause. It's fine for you to rest. And resting does not necessarily mean you're failed, it just means you are refueling. Now, something that I've tried to come to terms with recently also is the fact that sometimes God is not just asking us for results, God is asking us for faithfulness. So it's not so much always about the result. It's not so much about, oh, I did this and I didn't get this desired outcome, or I did this and I didn't get this desired outcome. Results are great, but at other times, God just wants to see how faithful you are in showing up, even when you do not necessarily see the results that you expect to see. So it's okay for you to actually rest. It's okay for you to actually take a break. It's okay for you to actually take a pause. As long as you do not let go of your dreams completely. It's okay to rest, rebrand, refuel. There are certain things I've been doing that I have put a hold on, not necessarily because the dream is dead, but because I've been thinking of ways to rebrand it and ways to bring it back. So I just decided to put a pause on it. And I've been feeling guilty about it. But in this period, I feel that's one other thing I have come to understand, that sometimes it's okay for you to rest. It's okay for you to take a step back, refuel, and then come back bigger. So it doesn't kill you. I know you can be very active, but you have to actually take that rest without feeling, oh, I'm not doing enough. You are doing enough. So when doing doesn't feel like it at times, the first thing I want you to remember is there's that myth where people say progress is always constant. And then the second thing is that it is very okay for you to take a break. So take that day off, take that time off. Do not guilt trip yourself by saying, oh, my mates are doing this, others are doing this, I need to push, I don't need to push. I think Emeka said something in the last episode where we had the last two episodes though. He said there was a time where it felt like sleeping in this country was a very big sin. But it doesn't always work like that. So know what works for you and then use it to the best of your advantage. Do not let others write your scripts. The only person who can write your script is God. So if you feel like resting, guys, then by all means, rest. If you feel overwhelmed, by all means, please take a break. It's important for your well being and it helps you actually come back bigger and better. So that's the second thing I have to tell you guys. And the third thing I want to talk about today is that your spark will come from inside you. So it's left for you to actually bring that spark back up. It's left for you. If you know that you read something that once challenged you, please go back and read it. If you watched something that once challenged you or encouraged you, please go back and do it. If it's for you to dance, eat your favorite snack, comfort yourself, but just do something else that would make you happy. And do not let these things bring you down completely. Reward your efforts. Consistency isn't glamorous, but it is worth it. So I've been thinking a lot lately, and I've just been thinking about everything, the progress in life so far. And to be very honest, I'm grateful for this year. But like I said, sometimes it just feels like you're stuck. You've been making certain impacts in certain parts of your life, and then it just feels like you should do more. And instead of you seeing the growth, it's just there. So I've been thinking about it, and it got to me that whatever I have is actually something to be grateful for. So I may have, for example, in my podcast, 10 people listening to me. It means God found me faithful or worthy enough to actually make those 10 people consistently come to listen. So be grateful for what you have, reward your efforts, and then sometimes, I repeat, success is not necessarily about the numbers or the results. Success is seen in your faithfulness, in your consistency. Consistency is not always glamorous, guys, but it is worth it. So stay consistent, keep building, take the break you need to take. Do not let the myth of progress or success being always constant make you derail from your dreams or from your goals. Keep pushing and you will make it to the top. Now, remember, when the world does not see you, or even if the world may not see your efforts or your consistency, heaven sees it and heaven acknowledges it. So stay consistent. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this vulnerable, emotional episode. And see you next week. Remember, this is Dream Then Do. Don't let that sadness take over. Dream this week, do it, and then become it. See you next Thursday. Bye.